Coming to you from the aftermath of our 5th Christmas party in the last 2 days. Yes, we are overstimulated, oversugared, and dangerously close to regifting that tortilla blanket that you got at the White Elephant Christmas party. In this episode, we're tackling the holiday hangover, why Christmas fatigue is real, and why you should stubbornly keep your decorations up longer than anyone told you. We're going to talk about how to stretch the magic a few days past your usual limit, and just fair warning here, John Michael thinks you're doing it wrong, and he's ready to argue. So grab your Santa hat, grab your eggnog, and welcome to the All In Podcast. Bada bing, bada boom. Bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, fellas, we've been here before. We've visited Mount Rushmore several times over the course of the All In Podcast. Today, we're building a new Mount Rushmore. The Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies.
Okay.
Jose, I'd love for you to kick us off, followed by John Michael. I'll take number 3.
All right. So my picks are, I think they're Christmas, but in my head I always got conflated with my birthday because I have a December birthday. And so it was always like what was coming out that year that we were going to go watch on my birthday. And so the most memorable, the most iconic, the one that, even though I still don't really know what's happening, I try to go back to, Polar Express.
I'm with you.
We tried to show Polar Express to my kids, and my daughter started screaming because it was too scary.
Because the animation style.
Just, it's too scary. Turn it off. Turn it off.
The guy in the train with the glasses.
That's who scared her.
Like the meme that's like, hey, can you play Mo Bamba?
I have not seen that.
I have to show you.
All right. As my father-in-law would say, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, starring Bruce Willis.
You're one of
Die
those.
Hard. Absolutely on my Mount Rushmore. He is fighting battles across the Galactica during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
It's liturgical.
I would agree with that.
Liturgical.
I would agree with that. I'm gonna go with a safe one here for my number 3 pick. Obviously, it's a beloved Christmas movie, Elf. You can't go wrong with Elf.
Can't.
The humor of Elf. Will Ferrell. Christmas morning, first thing you do when you wake up.
It's so quotable. You know, I just feel like everyone our age, if not a bigger group, has watched that movie multiple times.
Absolutely.
I have almost the entire thing memorized. There's 5 different types of food groups: candy, candy corn, candy canes, and syrup.
I think my favorite part is when he is singing "Baby It's Cold Outside" when the girls
in the girls' restroom.
Yeah.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold. Don't want to get copyrighted here.
Yeah.
Okay, John Michael, you had an interesting take here, the Die Hard movie. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bit around Christmas movies that aren't actually Christmas movies.
100%.
Which I would say, I mean, Die Hard is, you might have to admit, it's one of those movies. Are there any other movies that kind of fit that category? People claiming that it's a Christmas movie when it has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas.
Absolutely. Well, I think one that I see a lot about is the first Harry Potter movie.
I am 100% with you.
Is it a Christmas movie?
No one
Is it
argues
not
that's a Christmas movie.
Oh, so many people argue it's a
What's
Christmas
the
movie.
argument?
Christmas, Harry.
What's the argument?
Half of the movie is like, I don't know about half
Christmas
of the movie,
Day.
but it's like on Christmas and it's where he gets the invisibility cloak.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to read or watch Harry Potter.
That was the first
growing
book I ever read. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Are you okay?
Not Philosopher's Stone.
Not. That's the UK version.
Oh.
Isn't that the UK version?
I don't know. I think so.
The one that came out last year on Netflix, Carry On, with Jason Bateman. He's
Did you watch it?
I did.
It was a good
It's
movie.
actually pretty good.
But
It's about this guy who
with
tries
Christmas.
to
It just came out on
sneak
Christmas.
a bomb onto an airplane.
Yeah.
And it's all TSA security and how they catch him. And it happens to happen on Christmas Eve. And so now it's been thrown in with the diehards of the world as a Christmas movie.
That's funny.
It's so
For
funny.
me, one of those that I think of as a Christmas movie that's absolutely not a Christmas movie is The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It feels Christmassy.
There's a lot of snow.
Turkish Delight, snow,
Mr. Tumnus.
Mr. Tom.
Nothing screams Christmas like Mr. Tumnus, you know?
I'm with you. So really anything that's kind of ice themed, snow themed, you'd maybe throw in that. Winter themed.
I feel like it has to be winter.
Miracle
Miracle is a
Christmas movie.
No, it can't be ice theme. It has to be winter. If it's just ice, it's not Christmas.
What about Frozen?
I could see the argument.
I could see the argument too.
A lot of Christmas themes.
There's kind of like Christmassy characters in
There's
there.
a renewal. There's a sense of newness in the world.
That's fair.
There's reindeer.
There's reindeer.
There's snowmen.
Yeah.
There's snowmen. Yeah.
What about the Home Alone movies? Did you guys grow up watching those?
Yeah.
We watch those. Me and my brother still to this day watch that every Christmas Eve. Yeah. Wow. You talk about just goated movies of all time. Home Alone. The one thing though, it's one of those movies where you forget that in the 80s they rated movies differently.
Yeah.
So it's like Home Alone has some pretty foul language at certain times, which you forget about now. And then you watch it with little kids and you're like, oh, wow, okay.
Because you watch as a little kid and you kind of forget. Yeah.
Totally. But then you watch the brother say some pretty bad stuff to Kevin McAllister and you're like, oh, I forgot that was in there. It's so good though.
That's really just a whole thing, like a parenting experience, like becoming a parent.
Yep.
And you have this nostalgia about these maybe TV shows or movies, and then you turn them on and you're like, I don't feel comfortable watching
It's like
this
rated R,
Yeah.
but in the 80s it was G.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So something that's been happening with the Christmas season, I would argue, is that the Christmas season has been beginning earlier and earlier and earlier.
Labor Day.
Christmas in July.
July 4th.
It's global warming, you know.
Global warming.
You see those videos of like, it's like global warming's causing the ice to melt, and it's like just shows a clip of ice melting like in Antarctica, and it's just Mariah Carey. And it's just like slowly the song starts playing.
Oh my God.
So when do you guys think is an appropriate time to put your Christmas tree up?
To me, so there's two different arguments here. Your wife, I know, is a big early Christmas fan.
Absolutely.
My wife has showed me YouTube shorts of like, they're called like white moms preparing for Christmas. and it's like hilarious, right? They're like the minute November hits, they're running around throwing stuff up, and she sends it to Clayton's wife and she's like, this is you. So there's those types of people. Me and my family would fall into the post-Thanksgiving. I love if we could just go ahead and tell the Pope, if we could just call him up, say, hey, Leo, what's going on?
Hey, you could be a listener.
Could we just go ahead and make the first Sunday of Advent every year the Sunday after Thanksgiving? Because that's the best, that's the most natural time. Thanksgiving's over Sunday after.
For Americans. The rest of the world, the liturgical calendar should revolve around
Thanksgiving.
Everyone in South America is like, oh, it's after Thanksgiving this year. Awesome. That's so funny. But I think that's the perfect time. Sunday evening, warm bowl of chili, some soup, a little hottie toddy, and put the Christmas tree up. Yeah. And Dad always puts the star on top. Husby.
Want to put my Christmas tree up. I would agree. I like the early. I want to put the tree up. Mm-hmm. Like having a tree with lights and decorations is not going to stop me from entering into the Advent season. You know what I mean? And I think people. I think it's kind of funny when people are like, oh well, it's Advent. I'm like, well, just because I have a Christmas tree doesn't mean that I can't enter into it.
Right.
Well, okay, here's my take, and this is an argument that I've had with my wife, because you're right, John Michael, she loves Christmas. We've had pumpkins since September 1st outside of our house because it's fall, and I'm like, it's still 103 degrees in Texas right now. It's nowhere near fall season right now, but the pumpkins are out, and so she's really excited about the fall season. She's really excited about the Christmas season. She loves Christmas lights, but I've had to say, I think we should do something to kind of, prepare our hearts for Christmas and prepare during the season of Advent. I love having the Christmas tree up because it says, hey, this time of the year is different than other times of the year. But at the same time, I think we should have a slow build up to Christmas. And so this year, my proposal is that we can put the Christmas tree up, and then maybe as the Sundays of Advent, go on, we add a few more ornaments to the tree. Then we add lights to the tree. And it just allows for a little bit more preparation. But it's an interesting thing that it seems like the Christmas season has been moved back early and earlier and earlier. And the same thing would go for, honestly, surrounding Thanksgiving and just the season of fall in general. People get really excited about pumpkin spice lattes coming out at Starbucks, and that's the
season.
true beginning of fall.
Friday Night Lights.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people want to start celebrating earlier than the actual day of Christmas itself?
I think I agree with you with everything you just said, right? And for me, it's purely emotional. Like, there is no rational thought behind me wanting to have a Christmas tree up early. And I think that kind of ties into your question of why do we want to start it earlier? And it's because, we associate like a magic to the Christmas season, right? There's so many big holidays back to back to back in the fall. And it's always a fun time, right? When you're growing up, you get presents, you get things, right? You're with your family, and it can be an exciting time. And so we associate, like, we have really good memories. For the most part, right? There's a magic. And so it's just like, well, I want it to last longer, and I want to elongate that. I am so excited. Like, I can't wait another week. Let me just put the Christmas tree up. It makes me think of Christmas. Let me just start playing Mariah Carey, like, right after Halloween. Just to kind of get ready, because I'm so excited, and it helps me remember these emotions that I have surrounding the season.
So you're saying it's a positive. There's a positive element to it. There's a good there that people are reaching for.
I don't know if I was trying to go that deep, but sure. Yeah.
Well, just a follow-up question to that. I agree. All of us want the Christmas season to kind of be extended. We want to feel that. Why is it that we don't continue to celebrate after Christmas Day? We want to. It seems like the more secular thing to do is to celebrate Christmas from, basically after Thanksgiving until Christmas Day, and then December 26th, the lights come down, the tree
midnight
comes
hits,
down,
and it's over.
It's over. Why do you think we want to start celebrating before? Why can't we just prolong the celebration after Christmas Day itself? Because Christmas, as Catholics, we celebrate it as an octave. It's an 8-day solemnity, a big feast day for us to celebrate over the course of 8 days, because we can't just contain the feast in just one day alone. It's such a big and important time of the year, the birth of Christ, that we celebrate it for 8 days straight. So why are we tempted to not celebrate it during those 8 days, and we want to celebrate it from, as you were saying, John Michael, the first Sunday of Advent, which is the first Sunday after Thanksgiving, up until Christmas Day? Why do you think that is?
What do I think that is? I think it's just because that's what our culture does.
That's just what the culture does.
When you're saying, at least for us, why am I tempted to celebrate before instead of after? Because everything you said, I'm like, yeah, I do agree with that, and I'd like to participate in that. Mm-hmm. But my whole childhood, my neighbors, my friends, they don't participate in that. And and it's maybe it's a FOMO thing, but I want to be able to meet them there. Mm-hmm. What do you think, John Michael?
Well, I think to me, it doesn't really make any sense, because right after Christmas, everything stinks for 3 months. Like, the post-Christmas, it's January. I don't have anything to look forward to in January, February, until March Madness and spring break. So I think this is one of the things where...
It's because you don't have Mardi Gras in Colorado.
That's true. I would love... I've still never been. I would love to go. But in the Catholic tradition, which I think Clayton's going to touch on in a second, just the beauty of, like, what comes after. So September 26th, you got right after the Feast of St. Stephen, the first martyr. September 27th, you got Feast of St. John the Apostle. I mean, this is a Mount Rushmore of feast days right now. 28th, Feast of the Holy Innocents. Sunday after Christmas, Feast of the Holy Family. January the 1st, Solemnity. January 6th, Solemnity of the Epiphany. There's just all these things, and if you're not familiar with these solemnities or things like that, they're basically just big celebrations in the church that are highlighting the fact that this is a huge... It's not supposed to be a hangover. It's supposed to be the party goes on for 8 days.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think is something that we're missing in the U.S., which is... It was my favorite part growing up. And I don't know if this is in all Latin American countries. I don't know if it's what it is. But the Epiphany was like a second Christmas. And so it doesn't translate fully, but we would call it like... It's like the Three Kings Day. Like the Three Kings.
It in Espanol?
Well, the translation is Los Reyes Magos, the Magic Kings. But it's like the three kings that went to visit Mary and Jesus. And it's tied to the Epiphany. And as a kid, I had no idea what any of this meant. And I thought it meant like Harry Potter magic. Mm-hmm. But what I did know is that it was like a second set. It wasn't as big as Christmas, but we would still get presents. We'd still celebrate as a family. So it was Christmas, New Year's, and then the Epiphany.
That's amazing.
Which was awesome. And I think it kind of ties into what you're saying of like, now we're celebrating after and not before.
Right.
So that's something that I want to email Pope Leo about.
Okay, something that I think is really interesting about Christmas, I just learned this the other day. At our parish, we have family faith formation once a month. So the parents come with all their kids, and then they have separate programming for the children, and then the parents stay downstairs. There's coffee and donuts and snacks, and our priest, educates us on some topic. And this past formation that we went to was over the different liturgical seasons of the church.
Oh, that's cool.
And one thing that was pointed out, which I'd never heard this before, is you guys know when the feast day of St. John the Baptist is?
No.
June 24th.
24th. I was going to say that.
is the feast day of John the Baptist. And a lot of people call it Christmas in summer. And I kind of wondered if that's where Christmas in July came from. Probably not.
It's an Australian thing.
But the reason for that is because right around St. John the Baptist's feast day is the summer solstice. And so after the summer solstice, the days start to get darker and darker and darker. It's the brightest day of the year, right around that time of St. John the Baptist feast day. And then on Christmas Day, it's close to the winter solstice, which is the darkest day of the year. And after the winter solstice, the days get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And the reason for that is because St. John the Baptist said, "He must increase and I must decrease."
Wow.
And so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, he is the forerunner to Christ. And so his feast day is celebrated right around the time where it starts to get darker and darker. And then Jesus, the light coming into the world, the days start to get brighter and brighter and brighter.
That's awesome. The only thing I ever knew about solstice is, how do you say solstice in pure?
Solstice.
Before this moment was the summer solstice was when Percy Jackson had to return the lightning.
Well, here's the funny thing about that is that it only works in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, because it's opposite.
It's like in the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. It's the opposite with the days getting brighter.
Put that in the email
and
as
the
well.
days getting darker.
Yeah.
What is going on with the solstices?
So I think if we want to celebrate Christmas in the way that we ought to, as Catholics, as Christians, and celebrate those 8 days leading up into the new year, January 1st being the solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God, the Theotokos. We want to make sure that we're keeping our decorations up, that we're keeping the celebration going. But I think there's another important question to ask. We've answered the question, maybe, how can we prepare with the decorations before Christmas? But when is an appropriate time to actually take down the Christmas decorations?
The summer solstice.
I think some people in the Catholic world would say the Epiphany. Other people would actually go even further than that till the full Christmas liturgical season's over in like mid to late January.
Right.
I like that because it gives me an opportunity to effect revenge on all of my neighbors that put up their terrifyingly life-sized werewolves, clowns, and
the clowns
hideous
are the worst.
skeletons for 2 months leading up to Halloween. So to me, it's kind of a revenge of like, all right, you had a 7-foot-high It clown from Stephen King's novel. I'm leaving my manger up till
right.
March.
This is going to scare you,
baby.
I don't know. I don't want to butcher this because I don't know the full Mardi Gras calendar in Louisiana. But if I'm remembering correctly, I think after the Epiphany, it becomes the Mardi Gras season leading up until Ash Wednesday, right? And it's like a lot of people take their lights down and their trees down, but a lot of people repurpose it to Mardi Gras things. And they have like little Mardi Gras. Now, it's not like the big tree,
right?
But they might have like a small side tree.
Do they leave the lights up too?
They might have like a Mardi Gras lights. Wow. Now, again, this isn't like everyone does this, but I have seen it enough times to be like, oh, that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. So, because it's still kind of festive.
Right.
And it kind of, to your point of like, there's nothing to look forward to. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives you that. And it's, we could do a whole other episode on Mardi Gras culture, but it's like when they start having balls, there's like, what's it called? Parades. The parades.
Yeah, that is what they call them.
Yeah, they have like parades every weekend. They have like and so it's like really fun because it's different. It's not Christmas anymore. It doesn't feel like we're stepping on Christmas shoes, but it's something to hold you over right up till Lent.
What I'm wondering if our resident chaplain Clayton could explain like the old calendar, because wasn't it Advent into Christmas, and then there was kind of the preparation for Lent right after. And just like the importance of like, for people who are like, why should I even think about liturgical seasons? Like I never cared about liturgical seasons till a couple years ago. Yeah. Like what's the whole point of trying to live in this way where we're actually following what the church teaches versus what Target has
and my neighbors do
in their store?
Yeah. Well, so the season of Lent is more of a penitential season. During the season of Lent, it's proper for us to not have meat on Fridays, or maybe to not have meat on, Fridays and add another day of the week, or to give something up, to stop drinking, alcohol, to stop eating desserts as a form of penance, to prepare ourselves for the season of Easter, for Easter Day. And the Easter octave, it's another octave where we celebrate it for 8 days. The season of Advent is, in my understanding, a little bit different, where it's not necessarily a penitential season in the same way that Lent is. It's more of a season of anticipation and preparation. And so it might be common for you to maybe, you could, give up, alcohol or give up desserts as a form of anticipation and preparation for that feast day that's coming up, for Christmas Day, to wake up and, get your cup of coffee with eggnog in it as your half and half. But that would be my understanding. And I think what you're alluding to with, the longer season of Lent, in my understanding, there's all those, how do you say them? Septuagesima.
Yeah.
Octogesima.
Yeah, the crazy.
I don't even remember, but it was a season leading up to Lent where you would, maybe, give up, certain foods and things leading up to Lent, where maybe it was a little bit more of a more severe penitential season, if that makes sense. But
well, I think there's a piece of seasons too, right? Where if we look at the weather seasons, there's a sense of this kind of cycle of life. The tree, the leaves fall down, the tree dies, and then it's resurrected to new life. And so,
maybe up here in the South, we don't get that.
It's just all year round, 90% humidity.
Yeah.
But there's something there that's revealing a deeper truth that, the liturgical seasons show us this cycle of life. And so we anticipate the birth of Christ. Oh my gosh, he's here. And we get to really celebrate that, not just move on in the next day, but hey, let's take 3 or 4 weeks to just celebrate that God came into this world. And then we move slowly, not right away, but slowly into a penitential season, then into a mourning season, then into a celebration season of Easter, and then we work our way back to Advent. So there's this kind of beautiful cycle every year of the cycle of life, the cycle of faith, the cycle of family that happens, and Advent's such a great example of that.
That's a great point. This is something I was going to mention earlier, is why we celebrate the feast of Christmas, the season of Christmas earlier, is that in a lot of ways our culture has forgotten how to fast properly, to forego food and drink, and forgotten how to feast properly, to not to indulge to the point of gluttony, but to have things that you wouldn't normally have. We don't, in order to actually celebrate a feast in its fullness, it's like, if I just ate, a Christmas ham every single day for, the month of December, the Christmas ham on Christmas Day wouldn't mean anything to me. If I had, in the season of Lent, if I had a beer every day when I came home from work, and then on Easter Day, I have a beer, it doesn't mean anything to me. And so I think in a lot of ways we've lost that ability to anticipate. We've lost that ability to deny ourselves in order to, because we're body and soul, and so we have
Absolutely.
to, we have to discipline ourselves, bodily and physically in some ways in order to, fully celebrate when that feast day comes.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is John Michael Lucido, and I am the main host of the All In podcast, brought to you by Focus. And I just want to take a second to personally invite you to join us at Seek 26. Seek 26, January the 1st through January 5th. We are going to be in 3 locations. That's how big Seek has gotten. I'm going to be the main stage MC hosting our conference in Columbus, Ohio. Our other main hosts of the podcast, Jose and Clayton, will be down in Fort Worth, Texas, and then we'll have our third location in Denver, Colorado, January the 1st through January 5th. You are not going to want to miss this. The link to register is in the description. Can't wait to see you guys. Let's go all in on Seek 26.
I'm wondering if we could hit some favorite Christmas traditions.
Would love to.
Start us off.
Oh, great, please. So I have not personally done this, but I had a friend named Colin who would tell me about this. That on Christmas morning, which I think one of the best Christmas traditions is just opening presents on Christmas morning. But there's families do that in a lot of different ways.
Right.
So my family, my wife has started the whole matching pajamas thing, which frankly, if there's anything worse than being the turkey trot family, it's being the matching pajama Christmas family. And we've started doing that. So Christmas Eve, we open the matching pajamas. All the kids get them. We get them, which the only night of the year that I actually wear real pajamas is Christmas Eve.
It's true.
It's really, it's just like, it's flannel.
Yeah.
It's always like the long sleeve. Anyways, but so we'll come down in the morning. But my friend Colin would tell me that the way his family would do it is every single Christmas morning, they would all go into their parents' room. And then the dad would put like a banner over the door. So he'd take like wrapping paper and cover the opening of the door in wrapping paper so that they couldn't get out. And then he would play on the Bluetooth speaker, "Who Let the Dogs Out?" and at the part where it goes, who, they would all bust through the wrapping paper and get to run downstairs. And I was like,
funny.
My kids aren't big enough to do that yet. But when the boys get older, I 100% want to bring that tradition.
That's so funny.
My kids would go crazy for that.
They're just like, get hyped.
You feel like you're running out of the tunnel.
Smoke everywhere.
They're swaying behind the door.
Swag surfing.
That's incredible.
That's amazing. That just reminds me, this thankfully wasn't a Christmas tradition, but it reminds me of growing up. We would, so it was, the layout of my house growing up was, my brother and I shared a room, and it was the closest one to the stairs, and it was just a long hallway. And then you had my sister's room and then my parents' room at the end of the hallway. And so on Christmas Day, my brother and I always wake up super excited, right? It's like the whole like Christmas magic feeling, you know, like the gifts are here, like what's going on. We're so excited. And then we would go wake up my sister and then go wake up my parents, and then we wouldn't do Who Let the Dogs Out, and then we would go downstairs. And I don't remember this, but my family brings it up every single year. Apparently, there was one Christmas, I was maybe 6 years old, where my brother and I woke up. We were super pumped. And he's like, "Hey, let's go wake everyone up." I was like, "Hey, you go. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'll join you over there." So he goes, he wakes up my parents, he wakes up my sister, and they're kind of waiting for me to come out of the bathroom. And apparently, I just don't come out. And then they go check, and I'm not in the bathroom. It's like, where's Jose? Where'd he go? And so they all come downstairs. And I don't remember this. I had opened every single gift. And I had been like, "Oh my gosh, like, bro, guess what you got? This is what Santa brought. Oh, like, sis, this is what you got. Isn't this awesome?" And I had opened there was just wrapping paper
incredible.
everywhere. Gosh.
That's incredible.
It brings up a good point, though, of as a parent, Christmas is good. But man, it's just not nearly as exciting as it used to be. The moment as a parent versus a kid. Yeah, the moment I look forward to now is picking up all the wrapping paper as quickly as possible before it drops on the ground and putting it in the trash bags.
This is exactly what I was going to talk about.
Emily's like, "Oh, she's like, John Michael, did you see we got Judah the action figure?" And I'm like, like wrapping paper's got to be put up immediately. Boxes, styrofoam, immediately in the trash can. No wrapping paper left on the floor.
That is, my dad literally we'd each open a gift one at a time, and we'd have more than one gift per child. But we'd go around the room, and my dad's job,
school.
my dad's job was he would literally, as you're opening the gift, he would stand next to you.
Yeah, with the trash
bag open.
waiting, catching it.
It's just like, it's Christmas. Let's just relax. It's okay for the wrapping paper to be all over the ground. So I was going to say the two things traditionally that would happen on Christmas were you could always expect Dad to be fully ready with big black trash bags ready to go. I mean, they're under the Christmas tree, ready to go right there for you. And the other thing that my mom would always make us do is whenever we got downstairs to start opening gifts, she would make us sing this Happy Birthday Jesus song, like all the way up through. Happy birthday, Jesus. I'm so glad it's Christmas. And so I remember being like 15 years old and just being like, happy birthday. And like my mom, she would make us sing. So for my family, I'm sure there's more I could think of, but the first thing that comes to mind of my brother and I's favorite thing for Christmas is that every year we'd get to pick out a new video game that we would get for Christmas.
Best video game y'all picked out?
The one I remember the most was a Need for Speed video game. And then we would just spend all day Christmas Day.
Oh, that was the best.
That was just always something. Like my brother and I would debate coming up to like Christmas, like what are we getting? There was one year we got, our Game Boy Colors with like Pokemon. There was like another year this isn't a video, but we got like our Walkman, and we would just listen to music. But it was always so fun. It was what we looked forward to the most, was what game did we get this year? And sometimes there were times where we'd tell our parents like, oh, we want this game. And my parents didn't know video games, and so they would just buy us something. Sometimes it was for the wrong console, or, it was just not at all what we asked for.
Right.
And then we'd have to like play. So it was Need for Speed and Crash Bandicoot were like the two that we just...
PlayStation 2?
Yeah. We just loved.
Yep.
It was the best.
I think you bring up a great point there, is that the Christmas season has been secularized in a lot of ways, where the birth of Christ it's happy holidays now, and you still celebrate on Christmas Day. It's all about Santa, and it's all about the gifts. You even see it's happy holidays or it's Xmas. It's not Christmas. And I think probably, all of us, we have young children, and the thought on our mind is like, we want to make sure that the reason for the season, if you will, is still there, that's something that's acknowledged. And part of our, recent liturgical formation that we had at my parish, the family faith formation, one of the things that the priest brought up, Father Brian is his name, is he said, you shouldn't feel bad if your young children, the only thing that they care about is the gifts on Christmas Day, because they're 3, they're 4, they're 5, they're 6 years old, but they're having this experience of anticipation. And as they get older, you want to make sure that you're introducing things to your family to make sure that they recognize that, yes, this celebration is about family. It's about, it's about, giving, good gifts to each other, celebrating your family, celebrating the birth of Christ. So what are some things maybe that you've thought about of like, I want to give my kids, good gifts on Christmas. What are some ways that you want to, we want to decorate the Christmas tree and we want to do all these things, but what are some ways in which you can kind of slowly introduce like, hey, this season is more about the gifts under the tree. It's more about, the eggnog that you're going to drink over the next 8 days, but it's about the birth of Christ. So how do you start to slowly, change that, within yourself by some routines that you do, some preparation, or maybe, if you have young kids, how you can start introducing that to them?
As an adult, what was super helpful for me was actually going to mass. Like that was just something my family didn't do growing up.
It's a great start, yeah.
And so that completely changed it, because it was such a stark contrast to we wake up early and play a video game all day, like when we were 6 years old, And so going to college and realizing, there's more to Christmas. And so maybe because as an adult, I was thinking about these things, it was easier for me to transition as an adult. But I have no clue how to do that with kids, because I never got to experience that. Right?
Yeah.
I think, and I'll let you go here, because both of you guys have more experience, as now you have kids that are talking and remembering things, and right. But the one thing that's always stuck with me, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but someone told it to me for gift guidelines, because sometimes, you get the grandma or the mom that just goes all out for gifts, and it just completely takes away the meaning of Christmas. But that I want to figure out a way to implement, and I can't remember exactly. It was like something you want, something you need. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I like that.
But it's like something you want, something you need, something to wear, and something to read.
Something.
Wow.
Something like that. And like it's just like 4. It's no, like
That's
4
great.
is already like a good amount.
I like that.
Nothing more, but just something you want, whether it's a toy, whether it's something you need. I don't
Underwear,
know what
socks.
Sure.
Yep.
Something to wear, like a nice sweater or a shirt or whatever, and then just a book.
I really like that.
Which I thought that was great. And so that's something that my wife and I have talked about, like remembering and making sure we don't get lost in the sauce of making it all about gifts for kids, right? But what do y'all think?
I think I'm not an expert in family culture, but I think we've gotten better. I feel like I used to live with a lot of guilt as a dad of, oh, we're not doing enough. You know, they're more excited about the gifts than they are about Jesus being born, all those things. So what we've tried to do is kind of three things. One is anticipation. The second is celebration. And then the third is post-Christmas, so kind of winding down in the Christmas season. So the first is preparation. So this past year, what we did each Sunday was we did a little study on the Sunday reading. And then I asked ChatGPT to make a coloring page of that specific story. And it was amazing.
It's crazy.
Like,
I've seen
ChatGPT
these.
makes some really great kind of coloring pages. And my kids loved them. And then we would do that for things like St. Nicholas's feast day, things leading up to Christmas. And then on Christmas Day, to go to the Mass piece, I think where you go to Mass, and not location, but time, has a big example to your children of the primacy of Christ in the day. So if it's we do presents and then, oh shoot, we gotta get dressed for Mass real quick, we gotta run to Mass, we gotta fit it in between our other activities, then what that shows your kids is this is, you know, just a part rather than the main course. So we've been trying to do the midnight Mass, although I would say we're halfway successful when it comes to that. I will say we went to the Easter Vigil one year, and my son, halfway through the first reading, which means we still have about 2.5 hours to go, pooped all over his clothing. And so the next 2.5 hours, he stayed in his diaper the entire Mass.
That's so cute.
So we've been trying to do the midnight Mass. If you can't do midnight Mass, do an 8 a.m. Mass and then do presents and a big brunch, cinnamon rolls, fun sugary stuff after, so that they're not thinking necessarily about, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the gift I got, but more about we celebrate Christ and then we get to follow up by celebrating the presents we got.
I love that. I think that's great.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think there's all these different masses that you can go to. You can go to the Christmas Eve Mass.
That's my least favorite.
Really?
It's just, it doesn't feel right
Yeah.
to celebrate the birth of Christ when he hasn't been born yet.
Growing up, I was so confused by this. Now, and I've mentioned this before, like my family, we didn't grow up like the most faithful, but we still grew up in a very Catholic culture in Mexico. But in Mexico, you celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Huh.
So like Christmas Eve was when everyone would get together.
Interesting.
And so I thought that was a big day, and I thought presents were just like the leftovers the next morning.
Well, it's funny. I think my family did that for a time. Christmas Eve was when the family got together, the extended family. You had the big feast and celebration. And then Christmas Day was just for your immediate family. Yeah. But you can still go, even though you don't like it, John Michael. You can go to the Christmas Eve Mass, and it counts as
It still counts.
It counts as your Christmas
The
Mass.
children's choir.
You can go to the midnight Mass. You can go to the sunrise Mass. Or you can go to the morning Mass. So there's all these different, and they all have different, readings that are associated with them. And so one thing that my wife want to do this year is just on whether I don't know if we're going to go to the midnight Mass. We've gone to the Easter Vigil before at night. I think we've gone to the Christmas midnight Mass before. With young kids, it's always just hit or miss. It's like a game day decision, type of thing. Is just maybe Christmas Eve to read the readings with our children, the birth of Jesus, or if you're going to the Christmas Eve Mass or the midnight Mass the next morning, like you were saying, John Michael, to start the day with maybe some of the readings to pray together as a family, and then it's okay. You don't have to feel shame if all your kids care about. You're trying to read the readings, but your kids are just like, ready to go and open the presents. It's totally okay as long as like they can see in their parents and in their parents' hearts that what they're excited about here is the excitement of their children and the birth of Jesus.
Could I share a little reflection from last Christmas?
Please.
So last Christmas was our first Christmas in our new house. So I was really excited. Start building memories. I had asked my grandmother for her homemade spaghetti sauce recipe because she used to always make that on Christmas Day. And it was one of those things where you build it up in your mind, like, oh, this day is going to be great. 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 And then it was kind of one of those days where just a lot of things went wrong. The sauce wasn't as good as I hoped. Just like didn't taste like grandma's. Kids were just kind of wild and a little frustrating on Christmas Day. But we were opening presents. What we do is we do a bunch in the morning, and then we'll save one for the evening. So it's like they get one at the end of the day to kind of cap it off. And we had bought our oldest some sort of battery-powered toy, and she opened it up, and she just saw the batteries, and she was 5, and she grabbed the batteries, and she goes, I got batteries! And she's like freaking out. She's so excited, and she totally forgot about the actual toy that the batteries were supposed to be used for. And I was just, we put the kids to bed, and I was just reflecting on that moment of how the day wasn't kind of what I hoped, but her little joy in the little moment of maybe my Christmas gift is batteries. It is kind of a reflection of just the reality that Christ was born into a really messy family, into a messy situation. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean. Probably smelled. Joseph probably, wanted to be more prepared than he was. And I feel like as a father, I want this tradition to be perfect. And most of the time it looks like, oh, we planned to go to midnight mass, but everyone went crazy, and so we ended up at 10 a.m. Or we wanted to have this beautifully decorated tree, but the kid took off all of the ball ornaments and threw them at each other, which happened last year. And just that reality that the messiness of Christ's birth is a great reminder on Christmas Day itself, that it may not look as good as you hoped, but it's still an amazing celebration.
That's wonderful.
Reminds me of when last year I had spent a month preparing my eggnog in the fridge, which I had to put all the ingredients in, and then I had to shake it up every single day. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I had to shake it up
part of his admin.
Every single day, to make sure everything was kind of mixed around. I was super excited for it, and then we drove to my in-laws' house for Christmas, and I forgot it.
No.
Yeah, and so I didn't get to drink my amazing eggnog on Christmas afternoon like I had wanted to.
Is it made with whiskey?
Yeah, there's a variety of different liquors that go into it. So anyways, for all of our listeners, make sure you grab your cup of eggnog that you've been preparing for the last month. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment your favorite Christmas tradition. This is the All In Podcast.